Hello, my name is Brian, and this is Nintendo Game Point Drawing, and I guess this is just a point in which I just talk, and that's it. I guess to better put it is okay, quick crack. This is just where I draw and talk about what I'm drawing, or just talk about stuff while I'm drawing. That's pretty much all this is. Yeah. So it's gonna be fun, I think. It just gives me a chance. I guess this is just my free range. If I want to talk about something, I don't want to do like major, like, not necessarily want to, just like a way to talk with you guys and about like some of my favorite stuff that happens in like media or gaming and stuff. And I don't know, we draw, and I draw while I do it. And also make sure everything, hold on for a sec, make sure everything is like straightened here. Okay. Oh, I see. I see what layer I'm on. Okay. Make sure I'm on the right layer. Right now I'm drawing stuff for the site. I'm drawing a panel. Okay, I think it's obvious you know what a panel is, but basically what I'm doing is drawing, it's like a kind of a teaser image for something later to come. And, yeah. Okay, I guess, this is the part where I start talking about, like, no, okay, I'm gonna try to talk about interesting stuff. Okay, hold on. Okay, got the right thing. Odds are I'm gonna like speed up the footage of this and make sure it looks. Let's see, make it darker around here. Oh yeah, that's what I do. I like this purple. So what I'm doing for here is this is a teaser for like a new character because like on my site I've mentioned like this idea that if you go to my site, which is Nintendo Game Point at nintendogamepoint.weebly.com, it is a site I made up characters, and of course like a few of the characters I have are from a few of the characters. Two of the characters, as you know, one is me, the other is Shadow. The other two are Shadow and Arza, and I made them pretty much on the idea that they are from like another world similar to Earth, and now they're they help, and now like we all defended from like this thing. I guess. So this is like a teaser for what they're defending it from, because you gotta have some kind of defenses. There. Let's see if I can. I just want to get the shading on this pretty good. I'll create this idea that's like dark. Okay, okay, there you go. Ooh. Okay, this is looking good. I know what you're thinking. Like, why don't you just use the gradient tool? Well, yeah, I like to make my own. If that makes sense. Like, I don't just want to use a generic gradient tool. I like to make my own and utilize like I don't know. I think it works better if I just try it for myself rather than just like use a tool for it. Let's see here. Use my some of the lightness. Ooh, no, that doesn't look quite right. Okay, yeah. I don't just like to use the gradient tool because sometimes it's weird, and sometimes it's not like the same as like just like getting it drawn yourself and getting the right shading you want. So I prefer to color stuff myself. Let's see. Oh, so that's why people stream these. Okay. I just realized I just had an epiphany. Okay. Let's see. So I guess one interesting recent thing that happened that I legit want to talk about. I don't know if I'll make it a full video or not. Like if a full edited video is recently we had the announcement of freaking Persona 5 Scramble, and that's coming to Switch. And as you know, Joker's on Switch. Joker is in Smash Brothers, and so everyone started flipping their lids, like, "Whoa, wait, like this is cool, but put Persona on Switch." And I'm on the side that says that I'm on that side that I think it is amazing that we get like this unique looking Persona game on Switch, and I think, oh yeah, I think it'd work. No, actually, I'm gonna make that darken that in corners, like that darken corners. Yeah, but I think it's really cool that we get this game on Switch. I really think it's amazing to get that Persona's going to be represented on a Nintendo console like this, and not just Shin Megami Tensei. Although I haven't played Persona itself, but I said to myself, if Persona ever came to Switch, I would buy it. But my big issue with it is that this is great, but don't let this be the only way we get Persona on Switch, because it's Persona 5-esque, but it's not really Persona 5. It's kind of like saying Hyrule Warriors is a Zelda game. It's a game in the Zelda universe. It earns its place. I think it's fine that it has the Zelda continuity in it and all this stuff, but it's not a Zelda game. Like, oh, this is the next Zelda adventure. Link has to battle to save the Triforce. No, this is not a Zelda game. It is a good game, but it's not a Zelda. You see what I'm saying? Like, I want this to. It can't just be this. I don't know what. That's processing, I guess. Okay, some color here, color here, color. Oh, I like this little dark void I'm making. I guess. But yeah, I don't. That's the one thing with Smash Brothers is that, and that's honestly like a feeling I had when Cloud was in Smash. Is that when we got Cloud, that was really awesome. But like, Cloud's not on a Nintendo system. I don't know why I'm choosing that. I'm just trying to change the color. Cloud's like not on a Nintendo system, so it's weird and cool at the same time. Like, oh, it's super cool that we get this Final Fantasy character, but what Final Fantasy game is he representing? Like, seriously, guys, like, what's happening? Eventually Final Fantasy VII did come to Switch, but like back on the Wii U days, oh yeah, right, like that was not happening. So it's really interesting. I always thought it was so interesting that we got Cloud, but we didn't get we didn't get a Persona game on Switch. I mean, if I want to be very honest, I think Persona is totally coming to Switch. I mean, it's got to come to Switch. I mean, at this point, they can't not. They can't not put it on the Switch at this point, and I am a firm believer that it's just inevitable. But again, I still think it's weird that we got this game before we got like an official Persona game on Switch. I think it's gonna happen. I really do think it's gonna happen, but it's eventual. I guess it's just eventual to me. Like I said, there is a difference between the two games, and my only thing is I don't want them to use this as a quote unquote replacement. I don't know. I'm fogging this out so I can do this better. Hold on. Like, I don't want this to be a replacement for a real Persona game. Like, this is not a Persona game in the terms of an official game in the Persona series. This is a really good, but it's not Persona. It's a Persona spin-off game that's part of the series. It's not an official game. If you get my point. It's not an official Persona game. I mean, it is an official Persona game. It's not an official game in the Persona series. Like, Hyrule Warriors isn't a Zelda game. Fire Emblem Warriors isn't a Fire Emblem game. Oh my gosh, it's always with Warriors games. So yeah, that's my opinion on that. It's perfectly fine that it's there, but at the same time, come on, give us a real one. It's okay. We'll be happy. I really do wonder if it is because like Sony has some kind of deal where you can use Persona, but we can't have the actual game on other systems. because Persona 5 isn't on anything else except PlayStation, and now we have Persona 5 Scramble, which is on Switch and still on PlayStation. So I legitimately think it's because, oh, Sony, it's Sony being Sony. Remember when it was, I remember a time where people were like that about Nintendo, where it was like, oh, Nintendo, they're kind of hard to like do their own thing, and that is true. But at the same time, like, when I go back to thinking, you know what, okay, online service notwithstanding, even though I personally don't have a problem with the online service, but besides that, what has Nintendo done that is so like so weird? I mean in terms of like multi-platform stuff. If anything, Nintendo's just like been super compliant with multi-platform in my opinion, unless I missed something, which is totally possible. Which is like uh let's see here. Yeah, if you can't tell, I'm trying to make a villain tease, I guess. Let's see. Well, I'm going totally off tangent. That's a joke only if you watch my site. Or at least my blog. Actually, if you watch my blogs, because, like, good gracious, like, that old blog I had on, freaking Blogger, it was interesting on Blogger. It's definitely a jump from doing something on a Google blog to having, like, a full-blown site. And I'm trying to do something on YouTube. I guess this is why I started this little talking session on YouTube. Just ad lib. I can just talk about stuff and, not necessarily scripted or anything, and I can just say my feelings and hopefully give something pleasing on screen. I think honestly, I'm gonna speed up the footage of me drawing. Let's see what I want to do here. Got a shape. I don't think I like that color. Shape. I don't think I like this color though. I think I'm gonna replace it or trace it in like a gray or something. Doing this like gray here. Doing this and do a gray here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's good. Okay. So another interesting thing that's happening is, oh yeah, I guess I should be topical. The Sonic the Hedgehog trailer came out today, and I'm like, okay. Uh, how do I put this? It's it's fine. Like it's fine. I've seen worse. I just realized my opacity is off. It's okay. I'll fix it later. I'll just fix it later. But yeah, it's fine. I think it's okay. I think it's weird. I think it's really weird. But I mean, I've I don't know if I've seen necessarily worse, but I won't say this is like terrible, terrible, terrible thing. PCB, I don't know, should I change it to PCB? Should okay, I guess yeah, I'll change it back. Okay, but yeah, the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer is interesting to me because I'm gonna see how this looks with color. Hold on. Ooh, okay. I think we're getting somewhere. I'm gonna replace that. It's interesting to me because my opinion on that movie, specifically on these movies, is that, and when I say these movies, I mean video game movies in general, and pretty much any video game to cartoon movie, is that I don't like how they don't just. Actually, you know what? I'll start from the beginning. I feel like it's a good idea, but only if they do it right. Like, and I feel like most video game movies, the problem is you already have a video game to make a movie out of. And like so many people just say, why not just release a cutscene movie or something, or take all the cutscenes, make that a movie? Well, you can't do that because in reality, if the cutscenes from a movie, first off, it's arguable how much you have to cut. Because like if you took because Last of Us and its cutscenes is like 6 hours, I think. Like it's 6 hours for Last of Us and its cutscenes, And then you have like freaking a game like Mortal Kombat or Injustice 2, where its cutscenes aren't as long. I think Mortal Kombat 11 is longer. I forgot how long Mortal Kombat 11 is. Like, is it like 1 hour? That's like a standard movie. Like Mortal Kombat 11 and Injustice, the original Injustice, is like a 1 hour standard movie. Not so much freaking uh like yeah, you get my point. It's not like Last of Us where it's like heavily storied and it has to missions to fulfill and it's I think so. My issue is like I want that, but I don't. But you got to do that right. You can't just do that because it's just retread and obviously story stuff happens in between the gameplay itself. So that's a whole nother mess of problems. But that's just the mess to get into. Let's see. Okay. Oh yeah, I'll have the gradient here. There's some extension there. No, that's some on here. All right. Sorry for that. I started artseeing there. But yeah, I think you have a good idea with that. But I always feel like video game movies have to do something on their own to make them stand out, and when they do that, not they tend to not work out. So I really hope that, and that's why honestly I'm a lot more excited for Detective Pikachu than I am Sonic. And not just cause, I'm not saying like Sonic it can't be good or can't be made into a movie. I'm saying that there's some Pikachu is doing something that Sonic isn't. And that is Pikachu isn't trying to rebrand the Pokemon world and trying to make the Pokemon world into a new and make sense. It's in the world of Pokemon, pretty much. Like Sonic, the Sonic movie, from what I've seen, is like a completely different series compared to that. Like Sonic right now is pretty much what the Ninja Turtles are doing. It's like every single Ninja Turtle world is like every single iteration of the Ninja Turtles is a different Ninja Turtle, which is why it's okay that frigging the Ninja Turtles team up with Batman or the Power Rangers. Does anyone remember that? I don't know. I like the Power Rangers too. But yeah, it's interesting to see that in Pokemon because they don't have to do that. Pokemon, it's the world of Pokemon. They've established that the world of Pokemon is vast. It's not just Ash Ketchum and friends. It's not just the main games. It's the world of Pokemon. So having this story take place makes sense. You don't need to give anyone names and specific identities because it's the world of Pokemon. And you're okay with just it's okay to do something a little different as long as it fits in the world. And so far, from what I've seen of the Pokemon movie, everything they've been doing fits into the literal world of Pokemon, and I like it. What I don't like about Sonic in that regard is, well, it doesn't feel like that for Sonic. It feels like it's trying to be another different Sonic, which to be fair is okay, but but it's also trying to do the same things, but not in a certain way. It's just trying to fix things that just don't work with it. And I'm like, well, then why don't you just make a normal movie instead of Sonic finds a portal, ends up in our world, and now meets Alvin and the Chipmunks and everything. Okay, that's wrong to say. I'm not saying I don't wish for this movie to fail. I just think, oh gosh, you do realize there's a better way to do this. I'm making Green Goblin eyes. I don't know why. I just realized it's like a beta, just like behind the scenes look of what I'm trying to do. I'll go into that a bit more, but I want to finish my Pokemon Sonic tangent. Another thing about the Sonic movie that I'm already commending the Pokemon movie for is like in the world of Pokemon. Actually, let me backtrack for a second. If I was to say to you Sonic was a hedgehog, would you believe me? Like if you've never actually let me rephrase. If you saw Sonic and didn't see the hedgehog part, let's say you just saw a picture of Sonic and then no one told you what Sonic was. And I said to you, or a random bystander says to you, Sonic is a hedgehog. And they had no backing for that. They just said it. Sonic is a hedgehog. Would you believe them? You probably wouldn't. Exactly. You would not necessarily believe them because Sonic doesn't. I mean, he looks like a hedgehog only because, like, so many years have passed and, like, okay, that's what we've cemented in our minds. But, like, Sonic isn't a hedgehog at the same time. Oh, I feel like these are, like, way too big. Like, these brushes I'm using are way too big. But yeah, it's Sonic. Sonic is a hedgehog only in the fact that that we said it, and to be fair, he does look like a hedgehog. Like, but all the characters are these stylized animals, and Sonic is a hedgehog. Like the design of it fits a hedgehog, but it's not a hedgehog at the same time. Like if you were to put this next to a real hedgehog, clearly, 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 there's a difference. And so it's like saying Arthur is an aardvark. Remember Arthur? Every day when you're walking down the street, yeah, Arthur isn't an aardvark. He is a aardvark only in the sense that we need something to explain why he looks the way he does. But he's not an aardvark in the same sense we are. Same sense we know what an aardvark is. So the say that goes for Sonic too. Like Sonic is a hedgehog only because they said it. Crash Bandicoot is a bandicoot only because they said it. Freaking another example. Actually that fits. That's all I have. Because Sonic is a hedgehog only because of that. So the Pokemon movie and the Sonic movie both have another similarity of they are making their characters photorealistic, which is basically kind of the reverse version of a caricature, or it still is a caricature, but you know what I mean. It's like it's giving detail to make them look more real. Like think Alvin and the Chipmunks because you know they're chipmunks, so they had to make them look like real chipmunks. Real chipmunks, like very funny. But yeah, that's what I feel is the problem here is that like yeah they are these animals and yeah they are these oh crap like yeah they are these animals and yeah it makes sense to give them these features, but at the same time, the reason, to me, the reason this works in, say, the Pokemon movie is because, well, they have these descriptions. Like Pikachu is like a furry little mouse type Pokemon, and like freaking Greninja is a frog, so it makes sense to give him more frog-like features. Charizard is a dragon, so it makes sense to give him dragon-like features. You see what I'm trying to say? Like it makes sense in the scheme of oh they're not real animals, but it makes sense to make them look like real animals, or at least make them look more animalish compared to say something else. You know what I mean? It makes more sense to give them these features. Sonic, he's already so unique looking, and they make him look more furrier, which is one thing, and to me that's okay. But they redesigned him a little too weirdly. Like the design of Sonic is a little too weird. I don't like these eyes. Like I want to, this is like some beta test eyes. Okay. Like, yeah, but yeah, Sonic looks a little too weird. Like these eyes. No, I can fix it. I need to fix these eyes. I went with something, and now I'm fixing it. I need to fix these eyes for a second. Maybe I should make only one. So like King Koopa from Super Mario Bros. Super Show eyes. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's my one issue is that Sonic doesn't look doesn't look good because they're trying to make him look like a quote unquote real hedgehog. When in reality, Sonic is only a hedge. The design they had was fine. I kind of wish they did like you remember that Progressive commercial with Sonic where they had Flo and Sonic was running up and down the aisles. They just had Sonic there and interacting with humans. That's all I wish video game movies did was like they did like the freaking commercials where it's just peak Pokemon and just the characters exist and it's just in the world. Not this whole let's make it look realistic because big budget film. No, like all you needed was that. I wish they did that. That's the one thing I just wish. Like, come on, that's all you had to do was one thing. Like, all you had to do was this, and then they went a little too above and beyond, if you ask me, which is not necessary. I mean, you didn't. I understand updating again. The Pokemon movie is like just updating the designs of the characters to fit their descriptions or make them look more cat-like or frog-like or dog-like compared when in reality that is what they are very similar to. Freaking that doesn't work for Sonic because they're already stylized animals. So making them look like real animals doesn't help. So that's my opinion about it. I hope the movie does good, but like clearly something. Oh god, the first design. Oh gosh. But with that all that said, Sonic looks okay. Jim Carrey's Eggman is awesome. I will say though. Okay, I will say that Jim Carrey's Eggman is fine. Sonic just needs some work. I mean, it's okay though. Again, the design is okay. Although I wonder, Tika Sumpter, why is she in that? Why is Tika Sumpter in that movie? I don't know. Maybe she is a video game fan and just really likes Sonic the Hedgehog. Or maybe, you know what? I'm just gonna go with that in my mind and say yes. I'm just gonna say that is what happened. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, so now I'm gonna try to get to this picture here. I guess I gotta talk about what I'm doing. What I'm drawing is a villain teaser for the comic portion of my site is the story, and this is pretty much kind of the Lord Zed to my character's Power Rangers, if you will. Oh, there you go. I mean, it's still a little Green Goblin eyes, but like, you know, I can see it. Should have thought that because I want something to offset the purple. But yeah, this is my Green Goblin to my character Spider-Man. I guess I'm gonna use that analogy now. I guess this is kind of what's gonna be a little more of a driving force in my site's story. Kind of like, I guess my inspiration for like giving a story for my site, if I can go a little more off tangent, is I love if you've ever seen the online show, I love Atop the Fourth Wall. And one thing I really love about it is how Linkara manages to intertwine a story with his reviews in such interesting ways. And I love that he's created this story within his show. And it's not like the show is it's not like the show is I'm trying to think of the word. It's not like it's diminished. Like the review isn't diminished because of the story. Like like I at first that's the way I started. I hate to sound like I hate to sound like a problem. uh is that I started watching a show because I watched his review of first it was just I watched his review of Power Rangers and then I started just watching a show just to see if what episode had the next storyline and story arc, but then realized I liked the show I was watching, whether or not it had a story or not. And I thought that was really cool. And then I thought I really want to do that, create my own little story arc within my reviews, so it's something entertaining, and I really enjoy drawing out characters and stuff. So I thought I'll combine both of those, my love of Nintendo and my love of drawing, and turn it into a story. And so, thus, thus we have it now. Uh, let's see here. Uh, I'm going more simpler, and I like it. No, the simpler I'm making these, the better it's looking. Like, you know, like simple, evil, green, lizardish, not lizard, but like monstrous, Demon Eye. Ooh, actually, I'm gonna make this one. I'm gonna make this a freaky color. I'm gonna make this a freaky color. I'm gonna make it like this orange. Like, oh, he's evil because he has like a different pupil. He has a different pupil in his eye. That makes him evil. Okay, this is fun. What other game event happened? Well, one game event I know is coming up is E3, and that's like I am really excited for that. I know like a couple of companies like not necessarily dropped out. Like I know Sony's not going, and Square Enix was like, well, if Sony's not going to show up our games, we're going to show up our games instead of Sony. I found that so weird. Like I find it so not so much weird as it is just interesting that Square Enix, who relied on Sony so much to show off their games, because I always remember Square Enix games. The only Square Enix game that hasn't shown up at Sony is, quite frankly, Octopath Traveler in the last few years. Is that yeah, Octopath Traveler is like the only game not that Square Enix has not been solely at Sony for one reason or another. Oh, and Kingdom Hearts 3. But I find it so interesting that we are now like Square Enix is just now literally taking over Sony because Sony is no longer just going to show their stuff at their conference. I just realized I was about to make a freaking I was about to make like a King K. Rool esque person. I'm like, oh no, don't do that. Okay. You know what? I think some less is more in this case. I'm gonna add a little glare, add some eye glare, some little eye glare. I'll put the opacity back to normal. Put the opacity down, and some eye glare to make it look like it's a fulfilling eye or something. Hold on. Twinkle in your iris. A very twinkle in your eye. Oh, well, okay, that's an interesting thing I'll talk about. Yeah, okay. Like that eye look here. Oh, but it doesn't look like too glassy, but I also kind of want to make it look evil. Okay. Ooh, actually, this actually does bring me up another interesting. Where was I? Oh crap! I went off tangent. You see, this is why I called. This is why I actually thought of the name totally off tangent because I didn't want to. I love to talk about Nintendo and I love to talk about games in general, but I knew I wanted to talk about other stuff like cartoons or animation or drawing movies. So I thought, oh, I'll call it totally off tangent. And what's better than that? Because it's going totally off tangent from what I want. I'm gonna repeat myself for like, okay, if forgive me for sounding like a broken record for a second, but let's see. Actually, I'm not gonna sound like a broken record. So I guess that's a good question. The question I want to legitimately know is when is Nintendo's actual press conference for E3? Because I think that's where I left off. I'm sorry, I'm just coming back from walking my dogs. So illusion is ruined. We're not doing this in one take. But that is a question I want to ask because I feel like Nintendo's always the slowest when it comes to this. Like I want to know when their stuff is, but they take like 50 years before they actually say when their thing is. So I mean I kind of understand it. Oh, of course. Let's see here. A hint of a nose. Oh, that's what. Hint of a nose. And let's do this. Let's go up here. Okay, sweet. Okay, I like this. So, but yeah, I feel like Nintendo was the slowest when it comes to this, like actually announcing their press conference. And I don't even announce like what's in it. I mean, like when it's just gonna happen. Like, of course, not supposed to announce what's in it first, because that's legit something of E3. That's like an E3 ism that I just really don't like is when companies announce things before the friggin' press conference. Like that was I didn't like that. That's one of the reasons why Sony at E3 2018 why I really didn't like them that year was because they announced like a lot of good stuff, but a lot of it was like before the thing, and I'm like, why didn't you just announce it during the thing? Okay, let me cover this up like nice. Good idea. Okay, this looks mysterious. I'm mysterious man. But yeah, I wish that they didn't do that before their press conference because I really felt like that could have been really good to announce during those little freaking segments where they had like a ESPN sports breakdown moment. But yeah, I wish they'd done that instead of what we got that year, which was them taking like 50 minutes out of the day just to say just to break between from having their press conference in the tent to having their press conference in a normal theater for the rest of the show. Like, like to quote Scott the Woz, what the heck was the point of the tent? Oh, God. I love Scott the Woz. Like seriously, that's another YouTube channel you should watch, Scott the Woz. Yeah. Let's see. I guess I'm gonna start wrapping things up here because I realized that my text is too freaking small. Okay, 12. I need to think of some dialogue here. Let's go teaser dialogue. Yeah, I guess next time if I ever do this again, if you guys ever want to see it again, leave it a comment down below. What do you want to hear me ramble or talk about? Because right now I'm a little like really off script. uh, oh yeah. Okay. Well, I know what I'm talking about. I don't know why I'm like, oh yeah. I've done it. This is my magnum opus. Nothing in all other people will accomplish than this. No, it's obviously not. I wonder what do you guys want to hear me talk about, if anything. I hope you. I hope I can freaking talk. Can I talk today? Maybe I can. I try. Get some Telecon. Alright. Finally. Like, I'm trying to think of a good dialogue bubble for this. Oh, I know. Finally. Found them. There you go. Okay, there you go. There's generico talk for you. Well, it's not generic. You know, I won't say generic, but yeah, it's kind of generic. But like, it's what I need to. It's what I need, and it works out perfectly. This works for what I'm trying to do. Oh, I might alter the color scheme a bit because it doesn't need to be like gray. Make it lighter purple compared to the normal purple. This is pink, but I'll take it. So yeah, so I'm gonna do this, and let me get some italicized stuff. I usually don't. Oh, actually, this is probably a quicker one I've always done. I just do a flag. Oh, nope, so much nope. Alter that there, do some. Oh, there you go. There you go. Okay, make it interesting. I always like to make my stuff look interesting. I want to see if I can give a voice to this. Okay. Finally, I found that. Nope, I'm gonna stop now. I'm not in my voice acting mood, if that makes sense. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, I would, alright, okay. This looks like a video game boss. This kind of looks like a video game boss, which is kind of which is actually the theme I'm going with, so I'll take it. But yeah, Yeah, that's it. I'll put that there. Give it the theme I want. Let me put that there. That's me. Yeah, that's me. I always put my signature on stuff. I always put my signature on stuff. It's important. All artists, that's like the number one tip I give to. That's the number one tip I'd give to an artist is just put your signature on everything. Don't don't be afraid. Just don't think it's. The only thing I say to as an artist tip is if you're gonna put your signature where people can see it, have the colors match. Like put it in a decent place, like in a simple, just like put it in the corner, and then just like have the colors match or something. So it doesn't ruin the illusion, at least not too much. Oh, also opacity. I guess like work on that. All right. Like you can see it, but it's not like ruining everything. I guess. All right. So yeah, what is this in context to? Pay attention to the site and you might find out. Yeah, so that's it for this. I guess when we call it rambling and drawing. I don't know, it needs a name. But yeah, thank you for joining me. If you want to see more Nintendo themed content, you can of course subscribe to me here, Nintendo Game Point Plus on YouTube, or just check out my site, Nintendo Game Point Plus, Nintendo Game Point. It's ntgamepoint.weebly.com, where you can see tons of fun drawings and fun Nintendo related stuff. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys next time. And if you want to see more of me just rambling about stuff and drawing, like the video and leave a comment. Subscribe, even. I don't know. That's how you do it. That's the ingredients for making a YouTube video, I think. Alright, thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys later. You turn this thing off. I don't want to talk to you people no more. I'm kidding. I love people. I also like you. And if you watch